Hello everyone and welcome back to my build of a fantasy castle. This time I decided to finish off the back of the structure, trying to make it just as magnificent as the front facade without just copying it all over. So let's get straight to it. First, I began to work my way up from the bottom of the castle, creating some nice looking but understated back entrances or exits, which I imagine will be either the way the servants may come and go, or perhaps an access route onto the back gardens, which still need to be built. You may see a small village in the background, which is where all the servants might live. It's good to stay close to where the nobles need you. So going up from there, I added this quite odd looking nether brick pattern to the main body of the wall. It was an idea to try and get away from the structure of the front entrance as soon as possible. I developed a nice style there, but I only wanted to use elements of that style in the rest of the build, not the entire thing. So where the front entrance is divided into two sides surrounding the grand porch, I decided to go one further and add 3 segments to the back. So we have this big pentagon in the middle that immediately draws the eye, and 3 distinct areas to play with. Here's the bottom segment filled in, with some very unusual windows and swirling patterns all around. It's quite elaborate, but its purpose is only to draw the eye up to this very large balcony right above it, which is probably where the royal family would make their grand speeches, towering over the peasantry. Otherwise, these swirling spruce wood patterns below are there to give the palace a little bit of an organic feel, as if it had risen up from the ground itself. I originally wanted to use actual leaves, but after a bit of toying around, I found that the spruce made the pattern stand out a lot more from a distance. Now above we have these immense windows looking out on the imaginary garden. I was actually beginning to have the opposite problem of the last video, this time worrying about the structure looking too organic, with not enough order to it. I wanted to create a balance, so I put in these windows just to even out the madness below. Going up again, we have a set of cobblestone battlements. It's not really a deadly fortress look we're going for with this build, but nevertheless these nobles do need a bit of protection from the rowdy crowd below. I also started building up these small towers jutting out from the roof, creating 5 to match the pentagon below. Like the large towers dotted around the rest of the building, these were completed with spruce wood roofing to break up the large mass of nether brick below. Again, we see some indented glowstone puncturing the wall, giving the structure both light and depth. I added a few cobblestone and spruce wood struts to complete the look, as well as another organic pattern. But there were still some areas of the wall that needed touching, and I hate leaving large flat surfaces. So I created these spruce wood frames to give myself a canvas, because I was really pleased with how these mid-sections on the front of the castle looked in the first episode. These ones aren't quite as eccentric, but I do go into them without any rough ideas once again. However, at this point I was beginning to get a little bored of the blocks I'd stuck with for so long. I thought that this castle needed to have some colour breathed into it, something to make it really stand out and pop. So I created these red and yellow flags with wool, trying to make them vibrant without clashing too much with the aesthetic already in place. Again, you'll see me keeping with the same pattern, adding 5 flags for the 5 sides, with this very large flag on top. From there I moved on to the side towers, fleshing them out with a bit of depth and a few windows. But I wasn't done yet. I still had the sides of the building to complete. Compared to everything else, they were pretty quick to finish, each side subtly different to the other, with the one side being largely organic inspired, and the other showing a very structured, rigid appearance. And that's it! The outside of the castle is done. We haven't really touched the inside or the surrounding area, but we'll get onto them in due time. For now though, we'll call it a day and just bask in the glory of what we've achieved thus far. I've been Callum Lewis, and thank you for watching.